Okay, Samantha, please begin.
Good afternoon, everybody. So today for the meditation, we're doing 5 minutes of mindfulness. So for each minute, there'll be a different thing that you do. So just find a comfortable seat, get settled in, get out any little wiggles, and then finding stillness when you're ready with the hands on the knees, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. You can let the eyes close or look in front of you at one spot. For our first mindful minute, becoming aware of the breath. Just noticing the inhales and exhales in and out of the nose, not changing the pace of the breath, just bringing your awareness there. Feeling the temperature of the inhales and the temperature of the exhales. Noticing how the inhale fills the belly, fills the chest. And then on the exhale, the belly deflates. For the next mindful minute, scanning the body for any tension, any pain or soreness. Maybe there's some areas that you feel really spacious and free and light. With each exhale, just allowing the body to soften a little bit more than the last breath. Expanding into the lungs, feeling the back gently growing on the inhales. Now begin to reflect on all your best qualities, your gifts, your talents. You can just label whatever comes to mind, whether it's physical qualities, personality, whatever you feel proud of yourself for. Just start to name those things, giving yourself compliments. Sitting a little taller as you think about what you bring to this world. Now reflecting on what brings you joy. What are the things in your daily life that make you smile? Maybe people in your life, activities, and the smallest of things. Maybe allowing a gentle smile to come to the face as you think about all the things that give you happiness in life. And then for our last mindful minute, start to think about the day ahead. What's coming up after this moment for the rest of the evening? Just using this moment as a checkpoint for you to make the rest of the day the best it can be. Just knowing that everything that happened up until this moment does not mean that the rest of the day has to go that way. Maybe the day can be even better than it already was. Just listing, maybe a to-do list, or maybe just relaxing for the rest of the night. Just taking 3 more deep breaths to end our meditation. After your last breath, you can start to open the eyes if they were closed, taking any stretches that feel good, and then coming back to class.
Thank you, Sam. Sam, how many did you get in your class the other night?
Yoga, I think it was 4.
Mm-hmm.
The night after class, I don't remember. Tuesday night, but last night was 4.
4? Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Mhm.
All right. Short class today, guys. I'll let you loose so you can relax before your Hicks class this evening. So we'll be on it just a short time. So that's a good thing, I think. Been a long day. Things are getting a little bit dreary. And so we'll end class a little bit earlier. But my first point I'd like to make is Miguel, Mr. Hernandez. Any ideas about how we can have our sales grow? Any ideas?
As a team, I'm not too sure, but just
Oh.
2 days ago, I went to food trucks.
Oh.
I think I went the wrong time because they weren't getting a lot of foot traffic. I
Mhm.
first approached them as corporate sales because I was hoping like they could buy it for themselves and then resell it at any price I guess they want. But they said they weren't interested, so then I waited and then I asked if I had their permission to just like hang out there and approach their customers, and they said that was fine. But I think I went at the wrong time because there was like 2 people every 20 minutes, so it wasn't that.
What town was this in?
Rialto.
Rialto? Oh.
Yeah.
So you're trying to sell to food trucks because naturally our product is related to food and they might be interested in something along those lines, correct?
Right, and a lot of food trucks, people don't necessarily take the food to their house. They just eat it right there on the spot. And that's where that's kind of my sales pitch, where to boost your experience of a food truck meal.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. That's an idea. How about individual sales? What, just thinking about yourself, how would you develop that?
How would I boost my sales? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Or any ideas that you might have to develop that?
For now, just asking for your friends and families to spread the word. If they can't purchase anything, maybe just share the link, the QR code for our website.
Mhm.
Preferably personal sales. That way we can make a little more money and not get the website involved. But if it has to be through the website, even it's no problem. And yeah, I'm gonna keep trying the food trucks. I just went at a wrong time.
Let's say, Miguel, you are at a food truck, or you have a friend or a family member, and they want to buy a couple of units, and they want to use their credit card to pay you. What do you do?
I think I'd be pretty stuck. Unless they have my number, they can quick sell me any money, and I would just take it out from my account when I have the time.
Would you do you have your website on your cell phone?
Sorry, that was my mom. The website on my cell phone. I have I have flyers, and from there I just like if I accidentally erase the tab, I just scan it again. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm thinking, this topic has come up with on some other teams. And I wanted to approach it with us. If let's say you have a friend or a family member says, hey, I'd like to buy the product and I want to give you my credit card. Well, we don't have any credit card readers. We don't have any of those because the university is too friggin' cheap. So how do you accept a credit card when they want to buy something? Now, a lot of teams or a lot of thinking is you have your website. You just go into the website and you purchase. They give you their credit card number, and you input it into the website and do it that way. Other teams or other ways of working around that is to just say, well, we take checks. Or if they feel uncomfortable about a check and they don't want to give you their credit card number, then you, again, like you just said, Miguel, you refer them to the website, have them individually or go personally to the website and purchase their product from there. So this is an issue with all the teams this semester, and it's hurting individual sales because they might be out and about at a shopping mall or with their families or somewhere, and well, what are you doing at school? Well, I'm on an entrepreneurial team, and I'm selling these products. Oh, what are they? Well, it's a food tray. It's a glow, a light for a computer. Oh yeah, I'd like to buy some. Well, okay, great. Here's my credit card. Oh, well, the only way we can do credit card is through the internet, through the website. So if you want to do it that way, fine. Or I'll take a check. But this has been hindering, and I wanted to bring this up to all of you today. This has been hindering and also getting people motivated to do individual sales because of somewhat of the hassle of the payment process. And I urge all of you, as you're out there in your world trying to sell this product, as if you're coming under issues like this, you bring them up in our meetings or you bring them up in your individual student-on-student meetings, and work and prepare and figure out a workaround, figure out how to best make it easier to accept payments and to work around that issue because you don't have a credit card reader. So this is something that's been developing with all the teams, and I don't want it to hinder our sales or our teams and discourage you from selling the product when we don't have credit card readers and we have to do workarounds like we just said. So that's just a topic I wanted to bring up today. If anyone has any ideas on that, I wanted to please feel free to shout it out. But this has been an issue with the practicum at all the teams. And fortunately, we've had a sale with through Tyler and a corporate through his father. The other teams have had big sales through relationships with either family members or corporations, and the individual one-on-one is struggling. And some teams are beginning even to think about going out into the community and going to the beach or going to various areas. But that's that again, we've talked about this, and that's kind of dangerous these days. So I wanted just to address this, see what Miguel, who's one of our leaders, to talk about it, and make sure we all think about that as workarounds of how we might be able to accept payments and sell our product individually on a one-on-one basis. So that's something I welcome any input or any discussions you have or any thoughts you have about that of how we can work around this. Okay, that's one issue. Because that will drive the numbers if we can get, sell a couple of units a piece every week. Plus, if Ghislaine comes through and solidifies some of those relationships she's working on, we'll be in pretty good shape. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge in so many areas. It's a challenge individually, just getting motivated, engaged to do this. And I understand that. But it's a foretelling of the future of when you're out there in the real world and you got to get up at 6 a.m. to go to work, and you go, oh, I don't want to do this today, but you got it. And we got to do this, and we got to find ways of working around this struggle and these challenges and sell our product. So I wanted to bring that up today and discuss that if anybody has any ideas. And Miguel, I picked on you because I wanted to hear from you on this subject because I know you're trying to get out there and trying to sell a product.
Right, can I mention something?
Yes, sure.
For individual sales, I recommend you guys bring like a little extra money, because like the last thing we would want is like some guy to have only like 2 bills of 20s, and then you say, oh, let's make it another $10 and we'll give you 2 trays. And he's like, I just want one. And then you're kind of stuck there where you can't break the bill.
Got it.
Just kind of lose that sale on just not.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. And because, and that's a very good point, because they'll have cash, and if you don't have proper change, that can be a hassle. Now, one way of getting around that is that, oh, you got 2 20s. Well, how would you like to buy? I'll tell you, I'll sell you 2 units and I'll give you a little discount. Or I'll sell you, you got $60 or $70, you got a $100 bill. Well, I'll sell you 4 units and I'll give you a little discount, or whatever. One way of doing that. Don't be afraid if somebody's got money he's wanting to pay, then you're afraid you're going to lose it, to knock a couple of bucks off the sale. You're not breaking any rules. You're selling the product. Yeah, we're not going to make as much profit, but you're moving the merchandise. And and also when somebody buys a product, they might take it home or they might show it to somebody else and they say, hey, where'd you get that? What's going on there? So yeah, good point, Miguel. But also if somebody doesn't, you don't have the exact change or whatever, maybe work out a deal of giving them a few bucks off their product to sell it. So there's nothing wrong with that, doing it that way. You're not breaking any rules, and you're being rather, you're being clever. You're trying to not manipulate, bad choice of words. You're trying to close the deal, and you have to do a couple of things. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. But thanks for bringing it up, Miguel. That's a good point about change and that sort of thing. Very good point. Okay. So that I wanted just to talk about that today and make sure we're all aware of that, and when we're out there trying to sell. And I got a question for Austin. Austin, are you out there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing? Austin, have you tell us about any sales that you've attempted to make of the product that just haven't happened, and why do you think the reason for that was?
Well, probably the biggest thing was like forms of currency, I guess. Like I was trying to sell to a couple of my buddies. But they didn't like have cash on them.
Okay.
I didn't even think about just having them putting in their credit card info on the website, and I could just hand it to them.
Yeah.
So I can do that now.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay. But so one of the stumbling blocks was they just didn't have the cash, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, we can work around that a little bit. But also, I mean, and I'm not saying this about your buddies personally, but I have a lot of friends who don't carry around much cash. And if they want to buy something or they want to do something, immediately say, here's my credit card. Here you go, do it. And that can be an issue. And one of the things you might want to say, well, if you use your credit card, we can give you a little discount if you buy 3. How about buying 3 as gifts to the front of your family members? Hey, it's Easter. How about getting a food tray as an Easter gift? That's kind of corny, but you never know. So, when people don't have cash and they want to use a credit card, you can always say, well, you can give cash, or I'll sell you 2 for $50, and I'll throw in a third one if you give me another 10, or something like that. So just, there's ways of thinking about that. Have that kind of set in your minds, even though they're your friends and they're your homeboys. You don't want to, actually take advantage of them. But at the same time, you want to give them alternatives that maybe that, then they say, oh, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So good example, Austin, and thank you. Any other thing you want to say about that and about any of your experiences?
No.
You're okay? I think you broke. Okay. All right. Thanks, Austin. That was a good example, though. Thank you. That was good. And these are issues that are happening to not only us, but a lot of the teams, and a lot of the team members are struggling with that, of how to do the individual sales with change, with credit cards, and that sort of thing. So that's a struggle. That's a challenge, and something you got to think about when you're out there trying to hustle the product. Okay. Anybody else have anything to add about this topic for our discussion?
I'd like to say something.
Sure, Andrew.
So I found that it's really helpful when people visualize or kind of see or read for themselves.
Mhm.
So besides having the product, we have a flyer that Rihanna has made, and we finally finished it. It looks pretty good. I've had a couple of businesses asking me for flyers, and I think our flyer is pretty detailed, short, and it has pictures on there, especially so they get to see how. A lot of people don't know how I realized how the steering wheel trays work.
Mhm.
And so they're like, how does it work exactly? And so when they see the flyer, it has a good representation of how it snaps on the
Very
wheel.
good.
And that's one of the biggest issues I've had is people are like, how does it work exactly? And so I feel like the flyer would do kind of the talking for us if you don't want to talk or
That's
describe.
great. That's great.
That's one
And
thing.
Rihanna, were you going to send me that flyer so we could maybe make sure it's okay and then send it out to the community through Wendy Lee? Weren't we going to do that?
Yeah, so I sent you the email that I wrote up. I don't know if you got it.
When did you send it, Rihanna? I've had hundreds of emails the last 48 hours, and I might have fell through the cracks. When did you send it?
I sent it like right after last class.
All right, I'll go back and check on that. I'm sorry. I might have missed that. So my fault, my bad. So I apologize.
No, it's
So
okay.
I'll look at that right after class, Rihanna. And if I have a problem, I'll give you a shout out, okay?
And then
Also, how many flyers do you have a digital version of the flyer, right?
yeah, so I think what we were planning on doing is because we weren't sure how much we would need. I think if you're going out and trying to sell, we were gonna leave it up to you to print how you felt like you needed.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Okay,
but there's a digital copy to include on emails and stuff too.
that's great. Okay, so I'll look at that as soon as class is over, and I apologize. Professor Hassey dropped the ball. So I'll look at that. Thank you, Rihanna. Andrew, anything else on the topic? I'm sorry, I cut you off a little bit.
Oh, no problem. That was it. The flyer is located in our drive, so it's under the flyer section.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right, great, good. Well, that's the issue I wanted to talk about today. And anyway, it's always good to hear from students and from team members that are out there trying to sell or selling to people, and people go tell them to go jump in the lake. And how we can avoid people telling us to go jump in the lake, or they don't have enough money, or what's the product all about, or please explain it. And if you think these things out in advance somewhat, and that flyer is very helpful, you're right. And if people can feel comfortable, then they'll part with the cash when they feel comfortable, they understand the product, and they understand the cause and the charity and what you guys are all about, university students running a business. I think that's an important facet of this, and that has people loosen up their pocketbooks a little bit and do all that. So I think that's important. And individually speaking, when you guys run into this, that can be helpful in your sales. Okay, let me tell you a little bit what I'm doing behind the scenes in the next few days. I'm meeting with the CFOs of all the companies, and this is we just finished the month of March. And it's very important for us at the end of every month to run the financials or run the run the bank statements for the month and report a reconciliation to Wells Fargo, matching our bank statements with our financial statements, and the revenue or the deposits made on the bank statements match the deposits and revenue made on the financials, where we stand on the letter of credits and how much money we owe. And an accountability is done, and it's reported to Wells Fargo next week. And I'm meeting with all the financial people from each team next Monday to go over these things. And once this report gets finished, I will forward it on to all to you guys, letting you know that we're all clean and Wells Fargo has signed off on our first few weeks of our program and all is well. But this is one of the things we do next week. Also, another thing we do is we file the first part of our sales taxes, the sales taxes that we have. And so it's very important for Talia to keep track of where we sell our product in what particular county. And because we have to report that on a report that she does. Let me show you that report right here. Right here. And you have to report by county the sales on a weekly basis of where you sell the product. And then the appropriate sales tax rate for that particular area is allocated in this little report. And we send it on along to our business office and to Wells Fargo so we can pay our sales taxes to the state of California. It's called the Board of Equalization, or in my eyes, the Board of Ripoff Artists, but that's another political statement I shouldn't make, I guess. But be that as it may, these are all things that we do this first weekend of April, accounting for all the March activity of our business. And so I will be working with the financial people in the next few days to clean all these up and get them done and reconciled and authorized. And then we send them along to Norm at the Wells Fargo Bank and to our business office so they can see how we're doing, that we're keeping track of everything, and all is well. So I urge all of you, if you have any checks or cash, that you get it to the appropriate parties, and so we can get these deposits in within the next few days or early next week, depending on the communications involved on your team. So make sure we get all those things accounted for and into the bank so we don't have any outstanding money out there that might cause a problem with this reconciliation. So if any of you have any issues with that, please talk to Andrew or Talia or Miguel, or even see me, and we can solve the problem for you and help you out. But these are things that we have to do as a company, as a organization, which all companies, every company now is doing their sales tax reports for the month of March. Every company is doing now their reconciliation of their financial statements for the month of March. We're doing the same thing. And that's an important part of business. It's not so much important part of it helps you sell more, which doesn't do that, but it helps us maintain our credibility as a viable team to our investor, Wells Fargo, and to our overall institution, which you're taking a class in, the University of Laverne. So that's what that all means, and you all should be aware of that, what the responsibilities that Talia has to do to make this all work, and it's a lot of responsibilities. So that's something that's going on behind the scenes this weekend and into next week of that. So make sure you communicate, get your reporting in, and all will be fine. Okay. Well, Andrew, Miguel, Samantha, does anybody have anything else to share on this April Fool Day? And I had a couple of stupid April Fool jokes, but I'm not going to do it because you guys will just say, what a loser, get him out of here. So I'm not even going to bother with that. But Andrew, Miguel, Sam, do you guys have anything else that we need to discuss today?
I'm good, unless you guys have any questions for me or need anything from me.
Okay, if that's it, this has been recorded. You are excused. Enjoy your class this evening. Enjoy the weekend. Let's get some product out there and try to sell and try to work together on this like we've discussed earlier. And thank you all. I appreciate you being here, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks, everybody.